Hello everyone, it is me, Michelle, Butterfly Spirit. So, I'm going to be talking about what my life was like for me before I even got into meditating. So, basically, to start with, from the time I was a little girl, um, I knew that there was a God. I didn't need church to tell me that there was a God. I already knew there was a God. And I just felt this connection with God and knew He was, wherever I was, I knew He was there. And I didn't need organized religion to tell me that. And so, also, growing up, I had feelings about me coming here to basically to do something to make my family's life better, And the reason I say that is because when I was brought home, I remember looking at my family, and I think I was like, I don't know, like they had me in some maybe a car seat or something, and they were looking at me, and I remember that memory of them looking at me, and I had this awareness of the fact of who they were and what I was doing here and stuff like that. But I lost that awareness and stuff like that because I got lead poisoning and really bad to the point I almost died. But luckily, my mom took me to the doctor, and I was, able to be healed from it by drinking a lot of milk and stuff like that, or whatever, to get the lead out of my system and stuff. Um, so I lost that awareness that I came in with, and I knew that it was relating to God and stuff like that, or whatever. And I knew it was a memory that was left there for me to have. Um, so I would talk to God. By the time I was a little girl going all the way up, I even still talk to God. And, I would talk to him because I knew he was listening. And to me about, like what I thought and stuff like that. And when I was in school, a lot of kids would say, "Who am I talking to?" And I'm like, "I'm talking to God." And they're like, "Yeah, whatever." And I'm like, "What?" A lot of other people don't talk to God. What's going on? And stuff. So, yeah, I will talk to God and stuff about things and stuff. And I just had this, this knowing about him being aware of me and stuff. And, church did justify that too, because they said, God, it is everywhere. He is all knowing and all powerful and everything. And the fact that he was all knowing and stuff, I took that to mean he was listening to me. Now, I didn't need church to tell me there was a God. I came into this life knowing that there was God. And I knew that, I didn't need them to tell me that. And, I basically grew up. Um, I learned about God. You go to church, you learn about God and stuff like that, or whatever. And, I learned about, Jesus and, or whatever, and what, I'm carrying the cross and stuff like that. And, um, bits and pieces about the New Testament. Um, and then there was the side of the Bible with the Old Testament where God was like a God you should fear and stuff, and I was like, oh, I don't know about that. Um, and I was kind of like, I want to stay away from the Old Testament because I want God to be nice, because you know my awareness that I had when I came into life, of with knowing there was a God, you know, He didn't come across to me as being mean, so I didn't understand the Old Testament God. That didn't make sense to me, and it still doesn't. Um, No, no. So, I like the New Testament. Like a lot of people, I like the New Testament in the Bible because it is happier. But the New Testament and the Old Testament and stuff like that, I've read the Bible and stuff like that, and I know a lot more about the Bible and stuff because I've read through it and stuff like that. At first, my assumption about the Bible was that it was a great book because it's a holy book. You don't want anything to happen to it. But now I know about the Bible and I understand you know why you have the Old Testament and New Testament, and I understand the scriptures of the Bible and what they actually mean and stuff like that. I actually do understand it more deeper and stuff like that. And all you have to do to understand the Bible is read it. And when I say read it, I don't just mean read it from, just, this section or this section or this section or this section or this little scripture at church and this little scripture. Well, no, just read it. And you read it, you will find out the truth about the Bible. Like I know it and stuff. I had help with learning about the Bible in its entirety and what it really means and stuff. And I learned it, and my fiance learned it from a YouTuber called The Real Merkaba. And he goes in detail and talks about the Bible and makes sense of it. And now I'm not afraid of the Bible. I don't look at the Bible as being, poetry, something I can't understand. I look at it as being something I can understand. And I have better understanding about the scriptures now and stuff like that. I do not attend church. I don't attend church. There's reasons why I don't attend church. And I'm going to say, church is a good place for people, to go when people gather and stuff. But there's things that people do in church that are not so nice. And I've seen people do that. And I don't agree with that. And I've experienced it firsthand. So I know about it. Also, because my fiance attended church he attended church for 14 years, during which time that he was being abused. And the things that the church told him to do, the money they told him to give to the church to make his life better, did not make his life better. So, yeah. All right. So, getting back to me, I had thoughts growing up, and feeling like I was was I the only person in this world who valued valued people and looked at people as being significant and being important and stuff? Was I the only person who was real in this world? And I started to ask questions about what my purpose was and things like that. And you know, I just I just had these questions, and you know, I was looking for them to be answered, but they were not answered. They were not answered when I was in church either. You know, um, yes, when I was in church, some scriptures did speak to me, but that was very rare. You know, when I was in church, I didn't feel God being there, so I left. You know, the father of the church I was going to, he even left. But talking about my teenage years, I was somebody that I never really got to have friends much because uh, you know I moved around with my family a lot, so I didn't get a chance to have best friends and stuff. I got to have friends for a short time, and then it would be time to move on to another place and stuff like that and stuff. So that wasn't very fun and stuff. And um, I you know, I was still questioning things about life and my purpose and stuff, and trying to understand things. I was you know I was the type of kid, and that I would see. people as being valuable. Like, I remember people's names. And, I remembered a lot of people's names from when I was growing up. When I was in middle school, I remembered a lot of people's names and stuff like that. Just from their face, I remembered their names, like their first and last name and stuff like that, or whatever, and stuff, too. And so, you know, I saw value in people and remembered them for the good of their experience. If you were somebody that I didn't really get along with or didn't like, in school, then I I remembered your name, but I remembered that you were a bad person. You know. But I saw the world as being this beautiful place, and seeing nature and admiring it, and you know, trying to figure out the questions to these deeper things that I felt and about this world. And nobody else that I noticed that was around me or that I was in school with had these types of questions and saw the world the way that I did. I thought that everybody felt the same way I did, but people didn't. They didn't see the world as being a place where anything could happen, and that that the things in sci-fi movies actually had deeper meanings. I saw that types of stuff and I believed it. you know I mean, if Jesus can walk on water, then stuff in the sci-fi movies and stuff, they can happen too. you know it actually can happen, in my opinion. I did have I was depressed a lot, and I still do have depression here a lot, here now anyway, and stuff like that. But I find that meditation does help me with it, and balance my mood and stuff like that with my life and stuff, and it's helped me get a better understanding. And um, because I was looking for, more answers about why God created this universe and the way that He did, and why I was created, and why the people were created, and stuff like that. I turned towards spirituality, and at first I wasn't comfortable with it, but eventually I kind of warmed up to it, and I'm finding that in these, spiritual types of, practices, things um, like people being psychic, or and people doing like psychic readings and stuff, and people meditating and having these different types of beliefs like voodoo and witchcraft and different types of other things. I feel that it's important to understand those beliefs, of other people, and explore those things. And even when I was in college, I wanted to understand, you know, wanted to understand things so much on a deeper level that I even took a class um, called, it was World Religions, and then it was I think it was like um, another religious class. It was like um, I forgot the second religious class or whatever that I took. And, I liked learning about different types of beliefs and stuff like that, or whatever, and stuff like that. And then I liked learning about, people's, learning about, more about things. Because, like I said, for instance, I was a little girl, I was looking for God. And, you know, I wasn't finding him, so I kept looking. And through, through meditation, and studying things like um, studying meditation and actually doing meditation, wearing crystals and actually using them, and learning about different types of different types of spiritual practices, I'm finding that I feel closer to God, and I feel that I'm on the right path. And I knew eventually I was going to get here, but it took me to go through my experiences and stuff like that, or whatever, and go through feeling, feeling, feeling like not connected to, other kids because I moved a lot, and because of that I have a best friend and stuff like that. I've never had a best friend before and stuff. I've had friends, but never best friend. And, so I still deal with that. I deal with anxiety because of things that have happened in my life. Growing up, with the have-nots, knowing what things are like not having electricity, not having the money to eat food and stuff like that. Um, and almost losing a house. And this was when I was in high school and stuff. Um, I've been through, some things that have stressed me out a lot, in my teenage years and stuff, and even in my college years and stuff. And, you know, I think that I'm happy that I've got on the path towards, spirituality. Now it took me to wait until after I got out of college and stuff, and to go through seeing, actually while I was in college, and seeing, seeing a church behave in a way that, was counter to what they're supposed to, because my assumption is people in church are supposed to be grateful, and they're supposed to be nice, and they're supposed to want to help. But the church that I saw, they didn't do such nice things, and their opinions of what I should do to live life, and what my fiance should do to live life, I thought was crazy. They even told us that we shouldn't be together, and I was like, what? And they told me I should get baptized in their church and stuff like that. Then I could get married in their church and all this other kind of crap. But my thing is, who is the church to tell me how to live my life? Who are they to tell me? Because God is the one that is over everything, So you can't tell me how to live my life. Only God can tell me that. Okay? Only He can. The church can't tell me. People in the church can't tell me, and they can't tell me that. People can give me guidance on things, and I will listen to things, as long as things are in love and stuff like that, and people care about me and support. But, I mean, I was just shocked, about the way that I've seen and heard churches behave, and I do not go to church. And you know what? Being on the path to spirituality, I don't find anything wrong with it. I still respect people who, regardless of who they are, regardless of whether they're in church or not, I still look for the good in people. I still do. Now, the shocking thing about this one church, the church that I'm talking about, these bad experiences with, or whatever, shocking thing is that when it came to black people getting killed, men and women and children, they were praying for the police officers that were killing, black people, and saying that, oh well, the black people, well, they deserve to die because black people kill other black people. So, yeah, it's not very pretty when it comes to a church doing that and stuff like that. And I mean, there's churches that have done a lot of things, and I don't know how loving God can allow these people to run these churches, especially when they are doing some of these heinous things. Some kids are getting abused sexually at these churches. Some of these churches are, taking people's money, and telling people you gotta tithe, and stuff, and if you don't tithe, you gotta get out of here, or you gotta get out of this church and stuff, and you backslide and stuff like that. There is no way these people can be people of God. That's why I don't go to church. Yes, I still believe in God, but I believe I can find God on my own, and I don't have to go to a church to prove that to anybody and stuff. I know some of the things that I said will probably shock some people, but it is what it is. And something, I wish I would have got on the path to spirituality. Some people call it New Age, a lot sooner, because I'm getting answers to questions that I've had since I was a little girl. I'm getting the answers to my questions, and I gotta say that it's pretty amazing, you know. Um, and also something that validated my path towards a spiritual awakening or conscious spiritual enlightenment is the fact that when I had a psychic reading, with a lady that was a psychic, she understood and she got me. She understood the internal feelings that I've been telling people in my life that, damnly that, you don't understand me, you don't understand me. That this lady who doesn't even know me understood me. And she had never met me before. And, I knew at that point, God had people that were out here that are serving him that are not in the church. And, I realized that there are people who do have spiritual gifts. And, their spiritual gifts are something that's meant to help people. Okay? So, thank you guys for watching this video. And I talked about my life before I started meditating and stuff like that. I'll be making another video at some point. But, yes, I am going to continue to talk to you guys and bring you more content and stuff. And I am working on improving my spiritual gifts so that I can help you guys out there to have better and happier lives. So, this has been Michelle, Butterfly Spirit, and see you in another video. Bye-bye.